Hey everybody, how's it going? Today I'd like to discuss an executive order that just came from the White House that mentions right to repair. So here, this is an executive order that says that this is executive order on promoting competition in the American economy, and when you scroll down, it's to right to repair. There's a lot going on here from farming, Department of Agriculture. You have them talking about early termination fees at ISPs, online marketplaces, and when you get down here, it starts to discuss right to repair. So the part that I'm interested in over here is it says cell phone manufacturers and others blocking out independent repair shops. Tech and other companies impose restrictions on self and third-party repairs, making repairs more costly and time-consuming, such as by restricting the distribution of parts, diagnostics, and repair tools. In the order, the president encourages the FTC to issue rules against anti-competitive restrictions on using independent repair shops or doing do-it-yourself repairs of your own devices and equipment. Now, is he talking about the same things that I'm talking about? Well, good question. When you click one of those articles, it's an article about Apple's authorized service provider repair program. Now, as I've gone over in many videos in the past, that is a complete PR stunt that is genuinely useless if you are a real technician that wants to provide value to your customers. And I've gone over why it is. I will link that video down below. It is a genuinely useless program. I made the mistake of thanking Apple when they released that program at first. I'll include that video down below too. And I realized at the end of it that you can't get access to anything. So it was a genuinely worthless program. And they obviously seem to understand that because they're linking to an article about it. Now, there are other points here where they were mentioning repair in this executive order. So it says over here, make it easier and cheaper to repair items you own by limiting manufacturers from barring self-repairs or third-party repairs of their products. And corporate consolidation even affects farmers' abilities to repair their farm equipment and use independent repair shops. So they understand that this is a problem affecting more than just me. So it encourages the FTC to limit powerful equipment manufacturers from restricting people's ability to use independent repair shops or do-it-yourself repairs, which means that they understand the scope of the problem to some degree. Now, one of the things that I also said recently is that the FTC came out with a report where they went over all of the manufacturer excuses. It's not safe. Think of the children. It's not secure. You're going to get hacked. Oh, no. And said that this is all bullshit. All of it is bullshit. I mean, they said it in a nice way, but I went over that in another video as well that I will also link down below. So the FTC has acknowledged that when the manufacturers give excuses for why people shouldn't fix their own stuff, that these are all garbage. Now, the president has said, okay, FTC, department that has already released a report on suggesting that there be some sort of right to repair legislation, you do you, make some rules, go. You have the executive go-ahead. This is an incredible step forward. So I remember when I was speaking with Joel Stetkis at a hearing in Maine, he was open to listening to what we all had to say, but like most politicians, risk averse. He said, have you heard anything from the Attorney General on this? Has anybody else spoken on this? And I had crickets. It was just independent repair shops, but nobody in government. Now, the FTC has a 57-page report explaining how this is a problem and how the manufacturers are making things up, and the president has released an executive order acknowledging that it's a problem and saying, here, you guys come up with a way to fix this. We're not going to pass the law. We're not going to say what the law has to say. You guys do your job, and we're encouraging you to do that. That is an insane step forward, because now when I visit state legislatures, when I am testifying on behalf of a right to repair bill, and they go, is this a problem? Has any other place said it's a problem? Has any other governmental agency said this is a problem? Now I can say, yes, the president and the FTC, which is an incredible step forward. Now, I know what I'm going to see in my comment section. I'm going to see a bunch of people crying about the fact that Joe Biden made this as an executive order. And I'm just going to piss you all off right now and say, I don't care. I don't care about your personal political salt. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care about you talking about Hunter Biden, all this other crap. I don't care. When Obama was president, I pushed for right to repair. When Trump was campaigning to become president, I did a video on this where he did a rally in late October of 2016 and said, we used to fix things in this country. We don't fix things anymore. There were these people that did really badly in school, but they were great at fixing things, and we don't do that anymore. And there's reasons we don't do that anymore, and we should focus on that. I did a video on that. I got a lot of shit from a lot of other people in New York because I said something about Trump instead of screw him. And I said, yeah, I'd like to contact his campaign, get him to see this as an issue. I got lots of shit in my comment section. When I go to Nebraska or Tennessee to lobby on behalf of right to repair, why are you going there? It's just a bunch of Republicans. When I go over to Olympia, Washington, or I go to Albany, New York, or I do a call with Pat Fay about right to repair, you can't talk to them. They're just those do-nothing Democrats. I don't care. I get it. You guys hate each other. I understand you guys hate each other. I understand that you're never going to stop hating each other. Don't care. I don't care who I'm talking to. It doesn't matter if I'm talking to Ron DeSantis or Andrew Cuomo. It doesn't matter if I'm talking to Trump or Biden, Rand Paul or AOC. I don't care. If they're willing to listen to what I have to say on Right to Repair, then I will happily make a presentation to them, regardless of how much I may disagree with any of these politicians on a number of other issues. I don't have to agree with a politician on everything to be happy when they take a step in the right direction towards the ability to service your own personal property. So I don't care about everybody else's political salt when it comes to this issue. Now, do I think that this is the end? Absolutely not. Am I cynical when it comes to anybody in our government doing something good and following through on it? 110% I am. Even when people are actually well-meaning, and I'm not convinced that they're all well-meaning, but even when they are well-meaning, they often do things that screw over average everyday people. Or they just don't do it at all, or it's just a political stunt. Of course, I am cynical. I am always cynical. I will always remain cynical, which is precisely why I have been doing a lot of work engaging with members of the FTC that are responsible for making these types of rules through my antitrust attorney that I retained several months ago to make sure that when they start writing these rules, that repair people have a seat at the table so that this doesn't wind up being a bunch of diluted, watered down bullshit. I'm ready for that, and I have been preparing for that for several months. I am not someone that reads this article and thinks, we're done. We are very far from done. There is a lot of work to do. But I'm just saying that because I know what my comment section is going to look like. It's going to be Joe, people spelling Joe Biden with the B-A-I or B or whatever, D-E-H-N. I don't know. There's so much insane salt anytime I discuss any one individual politician. And I just want to say, don't care. Now, when it comes to the FTC, because they're the ones that are going to be making the rules on this, I did a video and I also posted this on my community page a few months ago, this little piece of news that Lina Khan was nominated to become the commissioner of the FTC, and she also is now a part of the FTC. This woman right here, she is for Right to Repair. She likes these companies as much as I do. She likes them as much as probably most of the people in my audience does, which is not very much. These are the types of people that are going to write rules that are not some wishy-washy, Lewis can't get a schematic, Lewis can't get a chip, Lewis can't get a board view. These are the types of people that are actually going to write rules that matter. Now, here are the actual concerns that I have regarding this. I am not concerned with this executive order being fake, nor am I concerned that the FTC actually doesn't care about this. I am concerned that the FTC is not going to have the resources to actually do everything that is spelled out here. Because when you look at just the breadth of this executive order and how many different industries are being targeted here, they're talking about repairs of items, refunds from airlines, internet bills, hearing aids, drug prices, non-compete agreements. There's all sorts of stuff in here. Healthcare markets. There's all sorts of stuff in here that has to be done. And this is going to take a long time. And I don't necessarily believe that the FTC has the resources or the budget to do it, which means that there's a chance that they may be open to other people putting together the groundwork legal analysis and legal framework for what will become rules. And there are people out there that might have the resources newly minted from 2 nonprofit organizations that just got funded to be able to start doing the groundwork for that. And yes, I am injecting myself into this. I am going to do everything that I can over the next year and a half to ensure that we have a seat at the table and that the rules that are written are not bullshit rules. You have my word on that. I've been working on this for several months. I've been working with an antitrust attorney that's been interfacing with the FTC for several months before this executive order was even a thing, and we are going to be ramping up the work that we are doing over the course of the next year. This is serious. They mean business. They're finally at the point where they're willing to admit there is a problem. This is no longer me screaming into a YouTube camera anymore. This is more than just crazy guy yells at camera. And when people say that I'm being harsh when I say that I don't care about their political salt, or why do you care that the president mentioned this? Why do you care that the president signed an executive order just because I don't particularly like that particular president when they're leaving a YouTube comment? Here's why I care. This is where this started. Here, when I was talking about this on this channel, this is where me talking about Right to Repair began. Me yelling into my $100 camera that, from the look of my hand in this thumbnail, was doing interlaced video instead of progressive because it was so cheap. I had 50 subscribers when I did this video. When I uploaded this video, it had about 5 or 8 views. This was me ranting and rambling into a camera. It's been 8 years since I uploaded this video, And the president just issued an executive order asking the FTC, that just so happened to write a 57-page report saying all the stuff that I've been saying is right, to create rules for the future that affect people that do repair. Yeah, I'm going to consider that a bit of a success. Now, are we done? No. There's a lot of work that has to be put in to ensure that this is not just something that makes a news headline for a day and is then forgotten about. But yeah, I'm going to consider this a step forward in the right direction. Every single one of these is a step forward in the right direction. When we have normal people in the news mentioning right to repair, that's a step forward. When we get to a point where your average everyday person on the street knows what right to repair is, that's a step forward. When the CBC does a news piece going over how the Genius Bar charges you $2,000 because it's a bent pin, because the authorized technician can't even see the screen connector to be able to tell what the problem is, that is a step forward. When the co-founder of Apple shows up publicly and says he wishes they would do the right thing, implying that currently they're doing the wrong thing, that's a step forward. And I'm going to take every single one of those steps forward, and that doesn't mean I'm going to stop stepping forward, nor does it mean that any of you should stop stepping forward. But I'm happy today, and you should be too. And I'm really happy and grateful that every single one of you are here, because again, I'm not the one doing this. I have no power. I have no influence. It's not me. Without 1.58 million of you watching and talking to your friends about right to repair and talking to your politicians about right to repair and actually getting in a microscope and fixing things for people so that they understand why what we do matters, I'm just a dude yelling into his $100 JVC interlaced camcorder. It's you all that are doing the work. It's you're what made this happen, and I'm really happy. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now. I got some work to do.